podcast where three of the OKS youth ministers talk about youth ministry. I am Michael Deese, and I am joined by the one and only Jeremy Crow.
Hello. Good morning.
Is it a morning? Oh, yeah, it is morning.
It is morning.
How do I not know that it's morning?
We're all getting ready for summer, so we lose track of what time of day it is. So, good morning. We are here, and we said three of the OKS youth ministers. We're actually missing one of the OKS youth ministers.
He had a baby. It's a girl.
Yeah, he did have a baby. It's a girl, and he is out of pocket today. But he'll be back with us probably on the next episode. But we do have another previously OK youth minister, now a very
I don't know if
impressive preacher.
I don't know if we can consider him an OKS youth minister.
Well, he did very good.
We'll see what happens.
So
I'm not sure what the metrics are on that.
yeah. How you measure OKSness.
Yeah.
So on the line we've got on an interview.
No, on the line.
Calling in on the line is Steven Hovater. And Steven is a minister in the Little Rock area, works with is it Central?
That's right.
Central Congregation in Little Rock. He has been in ministry for, fill in the blank here, Steven, how many years?
27.
Well, let's see. Yeah, 26 years full time now.
26, 27.
Right.
So all the teenagers are now spasming their hands. So
actually, I think that's over.
It's not. Okay. Not in my youth group. Not the kids. I do it to make them cringe. So so Steven's been in ministry 20 plus years, and 12 of that or 10 of that, is that right? It was youth ministry?
Yeah, it's about
like that was your actual position.
Full time. I did 10 years.
Okay,
full time.
Okay,
10 years. Yeah.
Where were you a youth minister for 10 years?
I was at Pleasant Valley here in Little Rock.
Ah, nice.
I graduated from Harding, came to PV. I'd interned for 2 years there before, and so I just stayed. They couldn't get rid of me.
So tell me this: was your wife also an intern? Did y'all meet as interns there?
That is true. That she did have an intern there as well. And
I like that.
She was an amazing intern, and I was like, that's the kind of lady friend that I'm interested in.
Hey, so. I do have one very important question before we really kind of start talking about important things. Well, this is important, but
sure. Yeah, she's very important to me.
Do you
got that on the recording? Check that box.
It doesn't matter. There's no way on God's green earth that she's going to listen to this.
No, there's no way. Listen, our wives don't even listen. We have 60 episodes.
My wife does.
Yeah, to critique it.
That's right. No, not really. Hey, so I am curious about what your favorite kind of pencil is.
Oh, man. I've got strong opinions about this.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if I'm just going straight analog, there's nothing like a Dixon Ticonderoga. But I will say that in recent years, I've become, I don't know if Jeremy and I've actually talked about this, I've become a real fan of the
mechanical?
A mechanical, a very specific one, the Graph Gear 2000.
I'm looking it up right now.
Graph Gear 2000. That sounds like a jet.
That sounds like a witch's broom in Harry Potter.
Well, let me tell you, these guys, and this is a.
Oh my goodness!
Is it Pintail? You see it? Is it?
I see it. It's a
Pintail.
Yeah,
Pintail.
That is.
Let me ask you
what
guys,
are we really
what's the
looking
biggest
at
problem with
price-wise?
the mechanical pencil?
This has got to be more than $10, right?
I think it's right at $10, but
goodness,
it's worth every penny. You know what the biggest problem is with the mechanical pencil, in my opinion?
What?
It's the way the little tip at the very end gets stuck in your pocket and like hangs on stuff.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? How annoying that is? Those turkeys, Pintail has designed that so that little tip thing retracts. Oh, it's amazing.
So I just realized, by the way, Steven, I forgot that we have a video, like that we're doing this, we're doing audio and our audience will hear audio, but we ourselves do see a video of you like pacing your living room, telling us about, and the passion with which he just described this pen.
It's impressive.
While pacing by the camera just cracked me up.
Yeah.
I have strong opinions about this sort of thing. And, Jeremy, you know my love of the Ticonderoga, but
Yeah, of
I
course.
think if you go to
I've
this
developed a
draft
love
year
for it as well.
2000,
Did you know
you go back.
I met you? I don't remember how long ago I met you, and
Yeah.
I also went somewhere and bought some Dixon Ticonderogas, and
The black ones. That's my
they're
faves.
awesome. They're awesome. That's all that I can say.
Yeah.
My office has a whole pack. Like I bought like a 20 pack. It was like $15 or something, and I love it.
Well, you'll be glad to know that the schools, when Lincoln started like kindergarten and first grade, and all, they put out a list of supplies needed for the classroom, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
specifically request Dixon Ticonderogas. They don't-
Pre-sharpened.
Oh,
They
really?
don't. Yeah, they don't ask for just number 2 pencils. They ask for the exact ones.
Okay, now we can move on. Now that we've covered all of the pencils.
For all the listeners out there, if you're needing a good pencil, you can
Graph Gear
at
2000.
Steven Hovater. You can ask him about pencil ideas.
Okay, so Steven Hovater, you've been doing ministry for 20-something years, 26 years, I think you said, and 10 of it was in youth ministry. What was it that made you want to be a youth minister?
Well, that's a very
Loaded question.
broad question in a lot of different ways. Like, you have to get into all my biography for that. But like the basics are that I was in an environment where as an older high school student, I was in I went to a Christian school that needed people to, like, they asked the older students to do some stuff with like junior high kids and elementary, like we did chapel for them and all that kind of stuff. And all the people that were in my age group like hated doing that kind of stuff. And so I ended up doing it like every week because I was like on the debate team and was pretty comfortable in front of people, and so I didn't mind. So probably 2/3 of the time I ended up speaking and doing stuff. And then through that learned that it's kind of I really did feel comfortable like using influence in that way, and felt like kids were responsive to me and that kind of thing. And more and more just kind of got a vision for how that would be a meaningful way to spend my life, was teaching people about the Lord and trying to use those kinds of gifts that God had given me to be a good influence.
So I will say my interaction with Steven has been, for listeners to know, we worked together in Tullahoma. And so I worked as the youth minister there while he was working as the preacher at the congregation there. And, his time of youth ministry didn't end when his job title changed from youth minister. There was still absolutely time where Steven has worked in and around or youth ministry adjacent in every role or job that he's done. But I would say now you're in the dad world of youth ministry, where you've got. Are your girls juniors this year? Are they going to be seniors?
My girls just finished their freshman year of college.
Oh my goodness! What in the world?
Now
That's
my
not true.
younger kids, of course, are in junior high. So
So you've got a seventh
my
grader
oldest
and
girls
a
are-
sixth grader.
This tells you how long ago I remember you telling me about your oldest girl had made a robot when I met you the last time.
Yeah, they were
That's how
playing
little they were. They were like
U8 soccer. I think.
Yeah, they were little.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's now something you might not know about his girls. One of them or both of them won a state championship in wrestling. Years
Izzy
ago.
won twice, and Micah placed fourth. So
That's awesome.
That's
they're
incredible.
So
Boss, but
I say that to say though, you've been youth ministry adjacent for the entirety of the time you've worked in ministry. What have you seen kind of change or adapt even since you were in paid youth ministry position, and now you're working alongside a youth minister there on the staff? What are you seeing different in the youth ministry culture from even when you were working it full time?
Well, there's no doubt that the smartphone and social media landscape is I think it's the biggest societal change.
Yeah.
Not just for teenagers, but like for the entirety of our culture. That's just cannot be underestimated how significant that is. And the way it affects everything from attention spans to communication to interpersonal skills to the way that they the way they think about their world. is significantly different. And I mean, that's an old enough change now that it's, all our young adults are in that same kind of mode too. And frankly, even my retirees, like everybody has been deeply changed. All my retiree Bible class, there are 3 people that use a paper Bible, and everybody else has a smartphone.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Okay, so it's
it's a completely
it's just
cultural
a difference
thing.
in the world. Now, I have said, I don't know if you guys have noticed this change, but it does mean that, for when we talk about the Bible, we're kind of getting back to our roots, right? Now it's, you don't say flip to this page, you say scroll to this passage. And, that's what Paul would have done, right? So it kind of is.
Scroll.
We're back to scrolling.
Yeah,
now.
that's right.
Just not papyrus.
It's just a restorationist
Hey,
movement to get back to scrolling. This is the way the first century church did it.
There may be some people that are on papyrus. I wouldn't be judgmental on that.
That's true.
So the real reason why we had you on here is because about 30 years ago, you created an app that was incredible that I use.
Maybe 12 years ago.
that I use. I mean, every single thing that I do, every time that I plan, I used to run a camp every year. I did that for 7 full summers, and I use your app to plan that. I use your app to plan all of the retreats I've ever done. After the day that Jeremy called me and said, "Hey, you remember Steven? He created this app," and from that day forward, I have used that forever.
For the budget specifically, that was the most valuable tool.
I never used it for the budget.
Oh, really?
No, I never touched it for the budget. But I did it for everything else because I liked the list and it helped me be organized. So at any rate, I did do the payments and stuff.
Yeah,
thing on there.
That was youth ministry.
It was just called youth ministry.
Period. No, that was the first iteration.
I even used it. We had a retreat this spring, and I used it for that retreat. And
so Steven, where can our listeners find that app at this time?
That's impossible. That finally the app store, because it went dormant. I didn't develop it for a long time, and finally it got to the place where it was just, they were like, we're sorry, we can't sell this anymore.
Yeah, and I will tell you this. So to take us into the conversation,
you look at the things that are on the App Store, and then they're telling you this isn't up to snuff, and you're like, there are 47,000 fart apps on here. It kind of hurts your feelings, right?
Which are also
you're
useful.
not as significant as the other 46 fart apps.
Yeah, they're also useful for youth ministry too.
Yeah,
so
very valuable.
Make sure.
Now I won't say that I'm the catalyst for what has been created, but I will say that when my computer went on the fritz and I had to get a new Mac and I replaced it, I went to download the youth ministry app because I use it and I couldn't get it. And I immediately texted Steven. I was like, "Hey man, I can't get this app. Can you send it to me? It's on the App Store." And he goes, "I'm working on a new one." And I was like, "What?" And so that's where this conversation began, at least for me. Now, you may have already been deep in this process before that was a problem for me.
I wouldn't use the word thorn to describe you in my flesh, but I would say that there was a persistent calling, as from Macedonia, that was saying, "Please send this help." Yeah,
please send help.
And it's because, in all reality, in terms of just the budget functionality and how to plan, like that never-ending question of how much do we charge these kids to go to this trip, and still turn out in the positive on our budget, or spend what we thought we would spend. That little small thing, and I know I could create what you did on an Excel spreadsheet, but I didn't want to. I wanted you to make it and then me just be able to use it.
That's right.
But the functionality and the usefulness of that, I use that on every retreat after you designed that app. And so I used it at Cedar Lane. I used it at Coleman when I moved here. Until my computer died, it was all the time used. And it sounds like Michael was using functionalities I wasn't even touching. He was using a lot of the other teams development stuff and the curriculum planning, all that kind of things. So there was, it was a very valuable thing. Now, full disclosure, whenever you started releasing Youth Ministry 2, which we're going to talk about today, I sent it out to Michael and Hunter, my co-hosts here, immediately. Sent it
Your
to them,
co-hosts.
And set it up. Well, I'm their co-host too.
Yeah, no, we're his co-hosts.
Shut up. Okay, so I said, Go download this. Check this out. This is Steven's new iteration of what he had made before, and it's mobile. It's going to be awesome. Now, Michael, how much have you used it so far?
I looked it up.
Okay, perfect.
I appreciate that.
Now, Hunter, I think, actually went and downloaded it. But he's not here to speak to that. So I want to be full disclosure here with you to let you know that Michael has done nothing with the new app. So he doesn't know the glories that are there. You know, he will behold once he opens that.
I did look up, and I saw all your other apps that you've made, which are all really good.
We'll get into some of those.
And then,
I think there's some significant ones to mention.
I have not done the youth ministry 2, which, I mean, why would I want that when I have youth ministry 1?
Man, Steven, that's a great question.
I really appreciate your loyal. You're still. It's like you're still playing, like the original Zelda on the first NES.
Yes,
I do. I do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still, you're like, I don't need. I'm not getting the.
I don't need Ocarina of Time.
That's also very old.
Yes.
I think you're meaning Tears of the Kingdom.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so
but I'll tell you, I will tell you that some of this,
casually reference a 30-year-old game.
some of this is I was really proud of that app in the original version of it. I thought it looked nice. I thought it was very, it kind of gave that, especially the planning part of it, kind of gave this structure to a good workflow to users. I felt like I was really proud of it. But then, but there were always things that kind of nagged me that I thought would be good additions to it. But I just never really had the capacity to go back and really what happened in the meantime is that Apple's development system switched to a different language.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was, I don't know how much in the weeds you want to get on this, but
did you start on Xcode on the original one?
Yeah, I used and that was all hand coded,
Yeah.
So it was built in a lot of different ways that, for the short version is that when they updated new systems in there, on the back end, it wasn't the kind of thing that I could just kind of tweak it and make it better. I really had to overhaul it and redo the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of, there was a lot of technological debt that had to be paid before I could move forward with the new version.
Yeah.
So let me take you back to the beginning of just the process of there needs to be an app. When you were working youth ministry, obviously, again, you've been in it 26 year ministry total. When you were working youth ministry, smartphones were not what they are now in any way. A lot of technology wasn't being utilized the way it is now. So were there moments that you were working in youth ministry that you were like, man, there's just got to be a better way to do this, right? This is such a hassle to structure and organize and sort this kind of information. Did you experience those kind of moments in youth ministry?
Well, the biggest thing for me, okay, is I was very painfully aware of my own shortcomings in terms of administration stuff. I wasn't a very good administrator. And so I was aware of the things that I had that were just gaps of to do things that I just would leave undone unintentionally or with the best of intentions and just, forget about it in between putting a retreat on the calendar and then the weekend showing up, stuff that just wouldn't get done. And so I knew I needed workflows. I had a great assistant that worked with me at Pleasant Valley. And so I was also aware of how many things that she was helping with that she really didn't need to help me with. I could have just managed it myself if I was a little bit more put together.
Right.
And so I really I kind of went through this phase where I was I need to develop better systems,
Yeah.
And so really that's what the app was kind of putting some stuff like that on rails, so that it made a really natural workflows to get the stuff done that I knew I needed to do, but left to my own devices would forget about.
Yeah.
And is this, go ahead.
That's what I used it for. Kind of like what you're saying. It organized me. It forced me to be organized. And so, I just pulled up this. I've gotten a little more recently. I haven't had to use it as much, but I just pulled up one of my old retreats. This was in 2017, And
Which
literally,
is awesome too that you can look back and kind of debrief something from then.
oh yeah. And I have all of my curriculum. I have the speaker info. I have the song leader info, all my registration, my scheduling, where we're staying, food costs, transportation, drivers, volunteer. I have all of that stuff filled out, and it's ready to roll. And it's a really great app. But tell me how the new app is and how it differs from the old app and how that works and what made you make those changes.
So a big difference is that, okay, so if you haven't used either one of them, just a real simple thing is that what the app does, both the old version and the new version, is it created these workflows that would say, all right, if you're planning a retreat, here are the 30 things that need to get done. And then it kind of is giving you a progress bar as you check things off and say, I've got that done, I got that, and it kind of walks you through it. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Fair way of representing?
Yeah, it has a little bar and you like curriculum, registration, schedule, housing, food.
Yeah. Just kind of like a very work specific checklist. And so what the new app does that's a little bit different is, and this was one of the things that bothered me about the old version, is that it was very specific. Like for a retreat, it was perfect, but for a lot of the other kinds of events that make up the regular life in ministry, there wasn't anything like it. And so what I did is I kind of took each one of those things that you just mentioned, curriculum, and I made it like a curriculum component. And then I made a registration component, scheduling component, these different components. And then what I've done is I built a library of different kinds of events and kind of use the different components to create this menu of different events that kind of use those things like ingredients in a recipe. So if you have a mission trip, you're gonna get a ministry partner component. Like, who am I working with when I'm, in Birmingham or wherever?
Yeah.
Right. Or if it's if it's a local thing, like if I'm just doing a Saturday event here, I don't need housing.
Right.
So like a service project, maybe similar to a mission trip, and then I've got a ministry partner, somebody I'm working with. But I don't need the housing component, right?
And you can kind of take things in and out.
That out, yeah,
dude.
Yeah. And so it kind of just creates this way of like, it greatly expands the kinds of events that are available, while also, and then we kind of make all those things available as components if you want to whip up your own recipe too.
So Jeremy,
if you want to kind of say, I don't need the schedule thing for this event, then you just drop it out. Or if you have, if you want to just kind of build a custom thing, well, there's 20 different kinds of components to use, and you just select the ones that you feel like you need for that event.
Jeremy just passed me over his iPad that has the app on it. And so, oh, by the way, the app is available on Mac, iPad, and iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
iOS and OS X.
And it syncs across all of those, correct?
That's right.
That's pretty incredible. First thing I want to say is that it looks incredible. Like, just looking at it, it's pleasing to the eyes.
I beefed up the aesthetics of it, and I was happy with the way it looked before, but I think
this is a lot better.
I think it looks a lot cleaner, and so a lot of that's just the APIs from Apple that you use to build this stuff have gotten better over time, and
even like the little icons and things that have changed, and that you've improved. Just the consistency of, when I want to look for the budget, I see the little money icon. When I want to look for attendance, I'm seeing the little chart that's showing that kind of data. So there's some good changes that make it more aesthetically pleasing, but also make it more intuitive, I guess you would say.
Yeah. That's what for me, for the design and the UI is all about. Like, does it take you to the places that you need to go? I don't want the technology. I don't want you to think about it. I want the technology I want you to get in and do the thing and then get out. And for it to kind of give you the track, but to not necessarily compel you to like fiddle with it a whole lot. You know.
So I'm looking at it right now on the, and I know our listeners aren't looking at it live like we are, but I'm looking at the App Store on my Mac, and what you've got, it says a digital home base for youth ministers, and that is absolutely a great way to describe this, is because I have found, I've been utilizing it now for a couple of weeks, I guess, since you put it live on the store, And I told you, let's get some kinks figured out, and then we'll get you on the interview. Each time you've done an update or things, it's gotten a little bit better and smoother. But what I'm finding is this is not just something I pull up when I have to plan an event. I'm like checking it each morning when I start my work, right? Or I'm checking it throughout the day, looking at tasks and things that I've got to get done. So tell me a little bit about the tasks section, or like the things that need to get accomplished that day. What the dashboard kind of does for if you've got it structured well and you've got your information in there.
So, Michael, behind the hood, under the hood, behind the scenes, like one of the differences of the app before and now is that the one before was basically document based. So every event that you had lived in its own space. This one is database driven, which means that it holds all of your events together. And part of what that means is that it can, instead of just showing you, this is what you need to do for this document, this retreat that you've pulled up about that's going to happen in September.
This one file you made.
This one file you made. Instead, it's showing you, okay, you've got 10 events coming up this summer, and this one you're at 60%, this one you're at 50%, this one you're at 80%. And these are your next 2 or 3 things that you need to do to kind of progress all of those things.
Go to the dashboard, Michael.
I see the pressing tasks. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, the driving thing for this is I want it to answer the question for the youth minister that goes to the office, sits down in the chair, and they're like, all right, well, my job today is to, make young disciples for the kingdom of God. So where do I start with that? Right. It's kind of arbitrary, like, okay, what do I do today? And I want the app to kind of present a very obvious set of answers for that. You need to work on this mission trip. You need to work on this service project.
And not just this event, but this exact element of that mission trip, or this exact element of that.
You haven't done the scheduling for camp yet. You need to do that. You haven't booked housing for the mission trip yet. You need to do that.
So I just pulled up. Sorry. I'm on the app. I just pulled up one of the students that Jeremy works with, and the other app didn't have this, right? I mean, no. I don't think it had this at all.
And like ministry moments and things like that.
Yeah, this one has like graduation year, engagements, their like what group they're in, what high school they go to, and like their birthday, how old they are, and all of that stuff. You can even add their address and phone numbers and shirt size.
Well, and also all of those things work intuitively, like on your phone. If I click that address on my phone, it can pull up directions to go to their house if I got to go pick that kid up. Or if I click their phone number, it'll say, do you want to call or text this number?
I think
email them. All those things work instinctively with your other Apple apps.
And this is $10. Is that right?
Oh, what about the pricing decisions? Has anything changed there?
So a couple of things. First of all, one of the hidden features that I really like, that's like a system integration thing, is I also built it to like show you a map. If you have addresses in, if like you've taken the time to put addresses in, you can show like there's a feature called ministry map, and it'll show you like where all your kids live. Like it'll show you a map with everybody.
Whoa, how do you go to that?
Go to roster.
Okay.
And then on the 3 buttons, the 3 dots at the top, click that, and you'll see ministry map.
Yep.
You found it?
But that's just one of the
and it's populating. You see it's populating it right
That
now.
Is awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Did it pull up all the pins and show you?
Fun little feature.
Yeah.
So you can see, awesome. You can see where groupings of your kids live. If there's multiple kids, like here's where I see that is if like you wanted to do some kind of a small groupings thing and you want to do it locationally and say, hey, on Tuesday nights, this side of town, this section of town, y'all are going to meet at this park, or whatever. And do like a little discussion or talk or whatever. You can kind of pair your kids up with like who's going to drive the furthest, to get to these locations.
Dude, that's crazy. Yeah. This is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't know that that's like a ministry changing feature or anything like that. Just a playful system integration thing that I was pretty happy with.
Yeah,
Jeremy, you asked about the pricing deal, and so this is part of my just old schoolness. This is the gray in my beard showing, but like I have always just been somebody that priced apps as like you buy it on the front end and you're done. Okay.
You never done like a subscription based pricing.
I've always hated the subscription-based stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've never. I really don't. I have such a resistance to it, but frankly, just the way that the kind of the App Store works right now. I mean, that's the way this app is built right now. But that's probably going to change. I'm probably going to make it. What I'm going to do to kind of make it work, I think, is make it a free download that limits a couple of things, like you can only have 3 events or something like that.
Sure.
And then it'll give users an option to do like a lifetime unlock, which is pretty much the same as just buying the app straight up. Or it'll have like a subscription if you want to do $5.99 a year because you're a monster. Then who likes to do that?
I've never met
feel like-
anyone that likes that. Yeah.
So
it's the worst. So what I'm going to do, but I'm going to offer the annual thing. But really, for me, I would just do the purchase thing and just be done with it. You know,
So let me ask you this, Steven.
that's essentially the same. Yeah.
Based on what you just said, pricing, whether it's $10 or $5 a year, the reality is this: you don't need the money. You're a preacher, okay? We know you're loaded, but well, all preachers are loaded
That's true.
compared to youth
That's
ministers.
true.
But
That's true.
what I do know is this app is not making you rich by any means at all. Like
It's
probably not buying your kids new clothes this week out of this app, okay? But
No, yeah.
so tell me this. Obviously, there's some monetary gain of some help of selling some apps, but why does it matter to you that guys are downloading this and using it? Think about in terms of what you have missionally in mind for youth ministers, because that's kind of what our podcast is about, is trying to help guys that are new to this world or that have been in it a few years just be better at their job, not be so okay, actually be good at it, right?
Yeah. I mean, in a broad picture, all that stuff that I knew were weaknesses in my own work, I'm trying to help people have a tool that helps them, power through that a little bit and just avoid some of the same mistakes that I had. And if you want to be real concrete about it, like, I would think it would be awesome if every user of this app never made another phone call to somebody on a Saturday night while they were on a retreat somewhere and they needed somebody to teach their class on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And had to call somebody and be like, hey, can you cover me? I forgot and didn't get anybody for middle school class tomorrow.
I do that really
Like-
good. I'm really good at that.
The world is a big place. If we take that little administrative task and just remind them to do it a month ahead of time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And
Just an app that says, hey, dude, don't forget that.
these things, those are things, I know this is not a big deal, but those are things that cost your ministry over time.
Yes.
When details aren't worked out, like they really should be in advance. It costs your ministry in the kind of credibility that you have with parents and with the rest of your
With your
staff.
eldership.
Yeah, it doesn't help anybody.
So much of what we want is intentionality that builds trust with the people that you serve.
Yeah.
That's right, man. That's right. And then the other part of it is like fielding, especially with the way the roster management stuff is built in this time, helping you think intentionally about giving attention to the kids that need a little extra love, and need a little extra bump somewhere. And so, for me, that little thing where it pulls up somebody that hadn't been to class in a couple of weeks, or it's their birthday and it's just saying, hey, you need to remember to call. You remember to send Molly a text this morning. And if just that little bump and the friction of like, I just push this text button and it brings it up and it works. If that makes it easier and, 1,000 kids get text messages that they wouldn't have gotten from their youth ministers that care about them and love them, man, I think that's a huge win.
Well,
and it makes me feel really good to think about
right
some
now,
kid getting a text message that they wouldn't have gotten before.
That's right. Right now at Coleman, I've got, like last night in class, I had around 50 something teenagers. Okay. So we're a pretty good sized group. We're not a huge group. We're a good sized congregation. I've shared with another friend, Connor, who's using it with a smaller youth group and expressed some of the things about the functionality and things that he's, using. And what I'm seeing is this thing is valuable no matter how small or big of a ministry you're working with in terms of numbers. You're going to find a ton of usefulness out of this. Sometimes I feel like tools and ideas and things and class curriculums and things are designed with only that big mega church, youth group in mind, or it's built towards a very small group. This is kind of a universal tool, I guess you could say. Let me ask.
I would say I would put in one of the biggest limitation of it as it stands right now that I'm aware of, and I really don't know that the additional layers of complexity or what I'm gonna mess with this. It's really good for a solo youth minister, a solo youth pastor.
Yes.
If it's the kind of your situation is the kind of thing where you need to share this stuff with another team member, then it's going to be clunky for that. Like you can export these things, you can export the event and send it to them, but it's not going to sync across the team.
Right.
Okay. And so that's a limitation.
I was going to ask a question about that. If I have the app on my phone, does it go through like your Apple ID?
Yeah, it's tied to your iCloud.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was going to see if you
iCloud.
could like log into my account and do it that way, but so it only goes through the iCloud.
No, not yet. Yeah, it's all synced into your iCloud account, which is part of why that just simplifies the database management significantly, and it doesn't have to hit a server or anything like a different server somewhere else, and it all syncs in the background.
Yeah.
Okay. So that you generally are going to get, once you kind of get running with it, Jeremy, your experience has been like 30 seconds, right? Between when the things come over.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. Every now and then my beanstalk takes a little longer to grow. As
right.
Steven has described it as, man, just wait, the beanstalk will grow. You'll have, you'll have
because it really is a magical thing that like, as a developer, I don't really have control over that at all. Apple just makes it work. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a limitation. Like it is designed for your personal devices. Okay. So this is really about your work. It's not necessarily if you're like on a multi-staff youth ministry that you have to pass things to different people. It's not going to be as helpful. Okay. In terms of that part of it, I still think the thing that if you own an event and you're the one planning the event, then I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to skip ahead, and I just have some general youth ministry things that I'm going to ask you, and I'll let Jeremy kind of jump in too. Okay. So I want you to pick one. Okay. You have to choose between. I'm going to give you two things, and you have to choose which one you would. What do you want to do? Which one he likes better, or which one he would rather do?
Let's
Is
say
this a
which
lightning
one.
round
Yeah,
sort of
lightning
situation?
round. Here we go.
Lightning round. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, our notes say lightning round, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great.
All right.
Lock-ins or retreats?
Retreats.
Of course, that was an easy one.
Dodgeball or non-square in
I'm
the
not an
air?
idiot.
Dodgeball or 9-square in the air?
9 square in the air.
Okay.
Me too. Campfire Devo or a big stage worship service?
Campfire Devo.
Okay. Man, pizza or Chick-fil-A?
Pizza, as long as you're not getting the Little Caesars.
Well, now let me say, side note, Little Caesars straight, like they just cooked it, is great.
If it's
Little
fresh,
Caesars
it's fine.
hot and ready with the quotations around it, it's cardboard.
If it is, it will magically turn into cardboard
In
about
5 minutes.
45 minutes after it's been pulled out of the oven. And you give me some like, if you've had like 30 Little Caesars and they got delivered about a half hour early and the kids that's garbage pizza.
Hey,
If I could make a plea to the youth ministers out there, just get the kids better pizza.
yeah,
Get them the
just
good pizza.
stop ordering the Little Caesars, man. Say, you know what,
You can get them-
spend $2 extra out of
It's
your
worth
budget
the
per
extra
pizza.
$10 to
Yes.
get them to Domino's.
That's right.
So,
know what I mean?
so I will say, Stephen, to take us back to Tullahoma, I do miss the Pizza Hut buffet in Tullahoma. It was fantastic, but I really miss. Was it Raphael's?
Oh,
yeah,
Raphael's, yeah.
So good. Okay,
That was good.
okay.
Good pizza,
I think I know the answer to this because I know you. But a slideshow lesson or a whiteboard lesson, like using a whiteboard teaching class or using a projector screen.
I don't know that I feel really strongly about this, but I do love a small group with a whiteboard.
I knew you did.
I do like having a well thought out PowerPoint. I do have strong feelings about like what kinds of PowerPoints are good or not. You got like a sentence with 8 words on it max, and you get about 4 of those in your slideshow, and that's all you get.
Yeah.
Okay, last one.
I'm a real minimalist in terms of like PowerPoint stuff.
Last one. Summer camp or winter retreat?
I love summer camp, man.
Okay.
I love summer camp. I do love winter. I mean, I'm both really for those, but like part of it is we just have a really great camp thing going on at our church here, and man, I'm already stoked for it. You know, so.
Okay, so let me ask. These are going to be some questions, quick fire questions here. What's your favorite youth ministry game that you've ever like done in a retreat or in a camp? Just a great youth ministry game.
You ever do the thing where you like are all holding hand, like it's like trash can wrestling? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Like
I'm all for it here.
Our listeners need to know.
Okay.
Go ahead and describe.
Okay, so you get a group, and probably smaller is better here, but basically you have to hold hands in a circle around a trash can, and the point of the game is whoever touches the trash can is eliminated until there's just one champion. And
That's awesome.
So you have
This
to-
sounds like
you have to make
dislocated
the
shoulders.
circle.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you just have to hold. You have to hold. Continue to hold, and then you're trying to like basically, wrestle each other towards the trash can, and people are avoiding. It's like a big amoeba kind of flexing around this.
So if
thing.
you let go, you're out too. If you release,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. If you just bail out, you're out. Yeah. Of course, it's hard to
awesome.
say. Like, who let go? Did I let go? Did you let go?
Hey, what's an old school ministry practice that has nothing to do with the new technology, newfangled world? What's an old school ministry thing that still works and still matters today with teenagers?
Oh man, just slowly working a text. You just got to open the text, you read, you reflect on it, you kind of walk through it together. It's my favorite thing to do with any age group. Kids need that. I don't know why youth ministers seem to be scared of doing that. Just read the freaking Bible, guys.
Like just read it with your students.
Yeah.
Just sit down and take it seriously. Act like it matters what you're reading, okay? And it's okay. Just do that. You can do that. You can just say, "Hey, this year we're going to study Genesis, and what we're gonna do in class is we're gonna open it up. We're gonna read a few verses, and we're gonna reflect and think on it. And do some work. Like, don't get surprised when you come to a text and you have no idea what it is. Like, do a little work on the front end, but mostly just work towards having a conversation about the story. Ask kids what they notice about it, what things stand out, what kind of things they have questions about.
I think you're right that we underestimate
work it.
students' abilities to wrestle with the text. Right? We think, and again, it flies in the face of let no one despise your youth, but be an example. Right? Even though we would teach our kids that, I think we as their leaders sometimes underestimate their ability or their capacity to wrestle with God's word.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that like the clever acronym lesson that you're thinking about, where like the keys to relationships spell out the word relationship, I guarantee you that won't be better than Ephesians.
Yeah, okay. That's right.
Like you're not going to be better than what we already have. We have the best thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just let it do its work, man. Let the word do its work. Let the Spirit work through that. And that's not to say there's not a place for like, the other
Your 3
wrestling
points.
with specific
Sure.
thematic, which I think of as like wisdom stuff, right? Because wisdom teaching is a mode of the Bible too. There is a place for a lesson that looks like Proverbs. Okay. But there's no doubt for me. I mean, you got to teach kids to read. You got to teach kids to pray. You need to actually do concrete teaching about prayer. You got to give them concrete experience. Don't just tell kids to pray. Like, don't just tell kids to pray. Like, teach them how to pray.
Before we continue our quick fire, and Michael's got one teed up here for just a second, but you just said teach them to pray. I will tell you something in the functionality of this app that I will be utilizing this summer is the pray portion of the app where you can put in prayer requests. We didn't mention that earlier, but you put in prayer requests. You can literally pray through your prayer requests, like click through them, and like it makes you remind yourself to pray for the things that you said you were going to pray about. But the other thing is you can cast it onto your screen, your TV, your projector, whatever, and you can have like a rolling, looping prayer list going when your kids come in on Wednesday night and see that. And so my goal is to do that each Wednesday night this summer And the other thing is every time a kid gives me a prayer request, we're going to put it in the app. And then as things are answered, as we see God working in those situations, I'm going to move those to the answered column. And what I want to do is at the end of each quarter, show my students, hey, here's the things that we said we're going to pray about this quarter. And here's where we see God moving in these situations, which I think is, I think there's huge value in our students seeing God's prayer answering, ability, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Having some sense of that over time is a wonderful
measurable data for them to see.
I have one. What is the most youth minister injury that you've ever had?
Well, when you said dodgeball earlier, like the dodgeball or what was the other one? Dodgeball or nine square?
Yeah.
Well, part of the reason
you
said
immediately chose nine square
is because I have lingering shoulder issues because of my time in youth ministry. And there's one, like, I can specifically point to a time in 2003 where a kid named Alex Strevig jumped on me in a pool in a way, and this was like a like the football player, lineman kind of kid that jumped on me in a way that caught my shoulder kind of back. And I'm sure I just kind of tore something a little bit. It's kind of like a little minor tear, and I thought it would go away. And that was, 23 years ago. And
That's crazy.
Still feel it.
That's crazy. I want this last year we all did we were playing football, and we were just playing like tag football. And I am not athletic any longer, but I used to be. And so I was showing off in front of the kids thinking I was cool, and I jumped up and caught a pass and tucked it. And when I landed, I don't land very good, and I'm pretty sure I broke a couple ribs because I landed on the ball between the ball and the ground, and it hurt real bad, and I couldn't like laugh or sneeze for like a month.
That's crazy.
It was awful. Yeah.
Okay, Steven, what do you think something that our students, like right now, students today in youth groups, and again, I know your kids are both of you younger in the youth group now?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are.
So you've got students today versus students when you were working it full time. What are students today actually better at than the previous generation of teenagers?
That's a good question.
Cussing.
No, they were good at it then too.
What'd you say?
Cussing. They're better at cussing. No, it's more creative.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know that they're better than that. I think they're probably. I think they're probably a little bit better at like how quickly they process information, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just because the world that they live in demands that they do that.
Yeah, they take data in nonstop.
They can find resources. Like you can't just do, like your teaching cannot be just information based, because they can get that faster than you can.
Yeah, that's
Wow, you know what I mean? Point. Like, so anything that's, we're just so far we're so far beyond the information age at this point that they don't need you to give them factual answers about stuff. They can literally find that faster than you can. Okay. What they need is wisdom, they need processing. They need to learn how to be a human. And I think if anything, and this is kind of ironic because I'm, doing some tech development kind of stuff here, but they need to learn how to get out of the screens. They can find all the information stuff. They can do all that part in the screens, but like getting out and just being a person that's just where the rubber meets the road now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to your app for just a second. What's a feature that you put in the app just because ministers just forget this thing? Like they just keep forgetting it. And I'll tell you, I told you as a joke about what we said we were going to make an app where you could sign up for us to remind you to get communion for the retreat. But like it's a legitimate concern. Like all of us have forgotten communion, and we've sent somebody to Walmart, at 10 o'clock on Saturday night to get stuff to make communion. So what's a feature that you put in the app? It's like, hey, I know these dumb youth ministers are going to forget this. They need some way to remind themselves.
And from my own experiences, right? That part that's in the components for a lot of these events, it's called While You're Away. Yeah. And it tries to remind you, okay, in your ministry and in your personal life. Like for me, all right, I don't know if you guys picked up on my dog barking in front of me here a minute ago, but like when I go on a trip now, I have to make a plan for my dog to get boarded. it's not a ministry thing. It's not on my ministry checklist, but it's something I have to get done. And frankly, I need to get it done like several weeks in advance if she's going to go to the bougie place that we put her in every time, right? So like having a space that makes me think about what are the personal things about my life like that I need to take care of before I leave town, and what are the things in my ministry life like that that class that I normally teach on Sunday mornings. Do I have somebody fill in that space? um, to me that is like,
It's
I know it's not a
professionalism.
big deal, but it keeps me from it keeps people from having to make a phone call, that's embarrassing, and it
They've
makes
got
you
to
feel like
fix
you
the
feel
mistake
small.
you made. Yeah,
I
Yep.
use that on your old app
all the time.
all the
Uh-huh.
every single time. I have a list. Like on this one's from like 2016, 2017, and it says Bible class teachers, cats. And so apparently those were two things that
Yeah.
I kept forgetting about.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and
Those poor
needed those
cats.
reminders, like
Yeah.
I've got to have somebody to take care of the cats while I'm on a retreat. I can't
They're going to poop everywhere.
The problem is you don't think of that as like work, right? Like, so you're working on planning their retreat. That's the last thing that you think about, right?
Correct.
That's right.
And so this, like that particular deal is just a way of bringing those features in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the refinement too this time around, the schedule thing is rebuilt. I don't know if Jeremy's had a chance to move. In the old version, Michael, it's just like a box that
It's
says
just a
put your
text
schedule in
box.
here. But now it kind of uses these like blocks where you actually can construct a pretty nice looking schedule. And as I was planning like a prayer retreat earlier this spring, while I was developing the app, I just was like, I'll just use it. I'll use it as I'm developing this thing, and that turned out to be like really helpful.
I'm a fan of the
help
blocks.
me think about the time.
I'm a big fan of the blocks. I'm looking at it right now. This is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
there's several parts of it that are kind of improved. I think like that, that I think as a user, and remember, it's kind of I'm trying to project a little bit, like I'm doing things from my ministry experiences, which are further and further in my rearview mirror. But I work, I work with the youth minister every day, so I'm kind of like coming to the office and be like, "Hey, James, what do you think about this?"
Well, and
Yeah.
that's
Would this
something to be
up or not?
noted is that Steven's been getting feedback from James, and also, I've been texting him with almost every day about something,
Just complaining.
either something
great.
that
No, it's
he kind of told me, he's like, "Hey man, go mess with this and try to break it. Like figure out what's not working correctly, so we can fix it." And so I started messing with all the features and functionality, and a lot of things worked well. There were some little things like when you go to input some information, the keyboard wouldn't drop out of the way, just little things. And then, I told him, and within just, a couple of hours, he had a new update on the store and it was fixed. Right. And so, doesn't mean that every user is going to have that access, just so you know, but, as we come across something and something's not working, reach out to him and let him know if something's not working. Don't do it on the App Store where the reviews are. Send him an email.
I do want to ask one
On
question.
the App Store. I need those reviews, dog.
Yeah.
I'm going to
if
ask
it's
one
great,
question.
tell you that.
Crow, you may need to you may need to put a review up. By the way,
Okay, I can do that.
Reviews, yeah, from the recent version, but no, I'm trying to be responsive, and we hadn't really talked about the development path. I mean, part of the reason I was able to go back and do it, I mean, I told you like it had all this technological debt that had to be redone. Well, the AI revolution in coding is part of what's made that possible, right?
Yeah.
And so we can
Yeah.
iterate, and so when we have problems, it's really like, I'm in a kind of good spot where I kind of learned to do all that coding stuff before AI, so I kind of know how to use it, and so it makes that iterating on the app itself like a lot more reasonable, So it's really made me be able to be responsive to the gaps as they've shown up, or problems that popped up.
All right, before we officially close out, and I'm gonna make sure to mention all the apps that you've created and everything too, before we completely close out. But I want to say, what advice would current Steven give to younger Steven if you were just starting out in youth ministry?
Oh man,
That's a hard question.
and young Steven had a great time. I think it would be, I need a better system. And this is a really specific piece of feedback, but all right, remember I worked here for a decade. I moved for a dozen years and then I came back to town. Okay.
Yeah.
when I came back to town, I've reconnected with a lot of my former students,
Uh-huh.
and uh, some of them I've had some kind of connection. Like I just kind of had followed their Facebook or Instagram, as they're having kids or whatever. But I mean, we have 10 people in our church now that were in our youth group as I was growing up, which is kind of awesome. But I also run into kids that are, and I'm kind of painfully aware of kids that I didn't keep up with over time after they left. And so that's probably not necessarily something that I did wrong in youth ministry back in the day, but I think me as a person, I think I need to do a better job of just like keeping up with people that are in my rearview mirror.
Yeah.
I'm just such a present, focused person that I tend to let things go. And there are several kids. I'll tell you, I had a kid that was in our youth group, and the gap between my age now and their age now is so much smaller than my age when I was a youth minister and their age then.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a kid, I'm 48. This kid's 39, and he died, last week. And I still think of him like a kid. I mean, he's a 39-year-old man, like he's not really a kid.
Right.
But I wish I had spent a little bit more time looking him up when I got back here, for sure. And even keeping up with him over time. Now we were a pretty large youth ministry. We were about 120 kids back when I was doing it. And so it's a lot of people.
Sure.
But if I had something that I would tell younger me, it would be, you need to build systems, not just for ministering to them while they're in the group, but you need to build a better system for ministering to them over time after they leave too.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
So Steven Hovater, everybody, he's the man. He works in Little Rock. He is just a preacher, so not really that important.
Just a preacher.
But he has other apps. I just pulled up his developer page on the Apple App Store. He has one. There's Priorities, Shepherd, a pastoral
Priorities is
dashboard.
new, correct?
Yeah, I'm really excited about Priorities, guys. It is built around a practice of every day picking 3 things that you're going to invest in that day, and then checking them off as you go. And then at the end of the day, having a little reflection. So it's not really a to-do list. Like it's not meant to be exhaustive. Let me list everything that I have to do today, but it just asks you every morning, pick 3 things that you're going to invest in. And
that's awesome.
Man, it's a great practice. It's got this dumb, free to download, but you have to pay to unlock kind of thing going on. But you get 14 days of it for free. Man, try it out. I think it's a practice that would help you in your life. So
and then we have Shepherd, a pastoral dashboard, and then youth ministry too, obviously. Ministry goals, sermon design 3, which I'm kind of looking. I've looked at that one and kind of like read through some of the little things there, and it looks really, really cool. But
And if our listeners search up,
to get an update, I'm about to push it today, and I have so that's really my flagship app. And I'll tell you that what this next update that's going to come out, that hopefully in the next week it'll get approved and all that kind of stuff.
For sermon design?
The best thing I've ever coded. Yeah. It's absolutely the best thing I've ever coded.
So get that one. It looks really great just from what I've looked at, and I don't have the app, but I've like read through all the stuff and everything, and it looks really cool. And then worship planner, and then he has iPhone and iPad apps, and that's Plates on Plates and Time Timer.
So. Yeah, tell us just real short, quick version of Plates on Plates, because I think Michael needs to know.
I'm not going to be a judge of that. So Plates on Plates is a workout. It's like a fitness and nutrition tracking thing, but it's based on, like eat less plates but lift more plates is kind of the metaphor for it.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so the workout thing, it helps you build like a workout routine, and it's just like super quick and dirty in how it does it, so it's simple. I feel like a lot of workout apps have a lot of unnecessary stuff. My favorite feature on that is that it will tell you how many stinking plates to put on the bar if you want to lift a certain weight.
Like which weight?
You want to lift 215 pounds, you have to like stand there and be like, okay, I got to do like math, like the bar is 45 pounds, then I need this, and I have to divide. I have to do like an algebra problem before I can lift the stupid thing. And so it's like a graphical representation. It just shows you need one big plate and 2 little plates, put them on there.
So for listeners that want to look at any of these other apps, if you go to your app store and search Steven with a V, not a PH, he is Steven with a V, Hovater, Hovater. If you search his name, it'll pull up all of his apps that he's designed. And we would encourage you to check them out. But youth minister guys, I mean, you're going to find a ton of use if you get into that Youth Ministry 2 app.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Well,
Shepherd is the pastor, like the senior pastor version of Youth Ministry, for what it's worth.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
So like when we level up one day, we'll download Shepherd.
Nah, man, you probably just stay with that Youth Minister app, and like you're gonna have too much work in it. You don't need to buy another app.
No need to get out there.
Well, man, I'm really glad that you joined us today. I'm excited that I got to talk to you. It's been a long time.
Yeah, man.
And
I'm excited about the new pencil. I'll be checking that out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you will.
It's $10.
It's the same as the price of the app.
Okay. Last lightning round. If you have $10, is it better spent on the Youth Ministry app or the Gear Gal
Graph Gear 2000
Gilgal 2000?
Man, the Graph Gear 2000.
He's gonna boost that.
I might say that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Better bang for your buck there.
I'm
huh?
self-interested. Like, obviously, I can't answer this because you definitely need to send me the money for buying my app. But
that Graph Gear is just something else. It's just something.
That Graph Gear is pretty dog awesome. So
I think we should call them and maybe get a sponsorship for that. They may send us one for free.
They're not a sponsor yet. That's always what we say.
Let me just tell you that when you order that and you start clicking that thing in and out, that little tip.
Oh man, can't wait.
You're gonna love that so much.
I'm going to Walmart and see if they got one in stock.
All right.
You have to go to art store.
So whenever we close out, Steven, we always end the show with somebody saying, "We hope your ministry is blessed." And I'm going to let you be the guy. And I'm going to mute everything except for you. And then you're just going to close
anything
us out.
you add before that's up to you.
Yeah.
But you finish out with.
So you finish us out, but you'll finish by saying, "We hope your ministry is blessed." Okay. So I'm turning it over to you right now, and as soon as you finish talking, I'm going to start the music. And if you keep talking for too long, I may just close it out anyways. So.
Okay, I got this.
Because you're a preacher and all, you know. All right, it's yours.
We hope your ministry is blessed. Did I do that well enough?
Thanks for joining us today in the important conversation of youth ministry. Go and follow us on Instagram and check out oksyouthministry.com for more information about our upcoming episodes. We'll be dropping a new episode every Wednesday morning, and we look forward to talking with you again next week. And hey, it's okay to be the OKS Youth Minister around, but let's all strive to be just a little bit better.